guys, my name is Tarunaya Lasena and this is my friend.
My name is Muhammad Rizky Amanatullah.
So we are from Civil Engineering Regular 4. So this time we will talk about column. First of all, Rizky will explain what is column.
What is the column? Column is a vertical compression root of the structural frame that carries the load from the beam. Column is a compressive structural element that plays an important role in a building, so that a collapse in a column is a critical location that can cause the collapse of the floor concrete and also total collapse of the entire structure. Next.
The function of the column is to transmit the load of the entire building to the foundation. The column was like a human body frame that made sure a building stood. Column includes the main structure for passing on the weight of the building and other loads such as live loads, people and stuff, and wind gas loads. The function of the columns in building is very important because they are related to stability and durability. Column structures are usually made of iron and concrete. The combination of iron and concrete can protect buildings from tension and stress. First of all, you must know the type of shapes of column that are often used in building construction. First is tie column, second spiral column, and third composite column.
In the book of reinforced concrete structure, Istimewa Dipusodo, there are three types of the reinforced concrete columns. The first, column using lateral sit-up. This column is a concrete column that is reinforced with longitudinal basic reinforced bars, which are certain spacing are routed with lateral binder. These reinforcements serve to hold the main reinforcement leg wise to keep it firmly in place. Next.
Second, column using spiral binders. The shape is the same as the first, only as a binder of the longitudinal main reinforcement is a spiral reinforcement which is wound around to form a continuous helix along the column. The function of the spiral reinforcement is to give the column the ability to absorb sufficiently large deformation before collapsing, thereby preventing the destruction of the entire structure before the moment and stress redistribution process is realized.
Third, composite column of structure is a compressive structural component that is reinforced in the longitudinal direction with a profile steel girder of pipe with all within being given longitudinal steps.
Based on its slenderness, the column can be divided into first short column where the buckling problem doesn't need to be a concern in planning the column because the effect is quite small. Second, column slender, where buckling problems need to be taken into account in plotting columns.
There are two types of column in a simple buildings. The main column are and the practical column. Main column. What is meant by main column is column whose main function is to support main load above it for residential house. It recommends that the main column distance is 3.5 meters, so that the dimension of the beam to support the floor are not so large. When the distance between the column is made more than 3.5 meters, the building structure must be calculated. What the dimension of the main column for residential building on the second floor usually used with a size 20 by 20 with basic reinforcement of 8D 12 mm and ducts 8 until 10 cm. With 8D 20 means the number of rebar with a diameter of 12 mm, 8 piece, and 8 until 10 cm that is bagel diameter 8 with a distance of 10 cm. Next, Sena.
B. Practical column. A practical column is a column that serves to help the main column and also as a wall binder so that the wall is stable. The maximum column distance is 3.5 meters, or at the junction of masonry or corners. Practical column dimension 15 by 15 with concrete reinforcement for D10 ducts D8 until 20. Column layout under construction. The portal column must be made continuously from the lower floor to the top floor, meaning that the position of the portal columns cannot be shifted on each floor, as this will eliminate the rigidity of the portal frame structure. So it must be avoided that the portal column plan is not the same for each floor layer. The size of the column upwards may be smaller. According to the load of the building it support, the smaller it is.
Next, what material that are used to make column in a building? Material is cement, sand, split stone, water, board, reinforcement, bagel iron, wood rafter, rafter nails. Next, the process of making reinforced concrete column. At the planning stage, we get a building design drawing to describe the shape of the concretion and determine the position of the structural column. Next is the process of calculating the structure of the building. This calculation aims to obtain the dimension of the column and surround building materials, with the hope that the building is safe to use but still has economic value. Next, take measurement to determine the position of the building column. This must be done in accordance with the building's sketch image that has been made. Moreover, in high-rise building, a 1 centimeter error is allowed to be a fatal error, so that it can make the building collapse. Next, calculating the need for iron board for reinforcement and the form of piece of iron recurred or often referred to as iron basket.
Next, assembling pieces of iron according to the plan column shape. Next, install the reinforcing bars that were made earlier in the column location according to the plan. Making formwork or molds that can be made of wood, aluminum plate or other media. Whatever material is most important that it is able to withstand the concrete casting process. Next, installing the formwork so that it covers the reinforcing bars. Next, check the formwork position. This check is useful for determining whether the position is in accordance with the plan size and whether it is really upright. Next, calculating the required concrete requirements in multi-story building to the build. Next, make a concrete mix. Besides that, you can also order it with a quality that has been taken into account in the planning process. For example, whether to use concrete grades K20 2050, make a concrete mix. Besides that, you can also order it with a quality that has been taken into account in the planning process. For example, whether to use concrete grades K250, K300, K400, and so on. Doing casting work in the columns. Determining the height of the cast can be done based on the size of the formwork, or you can measure that, or you can measure the remaining cast from the top end of the formwork. Wait for the concrete to hard. Wait for the concrete to hard. Then to ensure the strength of the concrete. Reinforced concrete strength measurements can be taken. The tool used is the NDT test, which can measure the hardness of the concrete.
So that is our material explanation about the column.
We want to apologize if there is a bad word error.
Thank you.
See you later. Bye.